The Prime Minister made a promise to the Australian people that his government would not allow religious freedoms to go backwards. Despite such assurances, he is considering changes to the law that strike at the very heart of these freedoms. The government's draft discrimination reform package was supposed to provide protection for the rights of all religious Australians. It is ironic that its effect will be to undermine the very people it was supposed to help. And the greatest threat is to Christian schools.
Our schools were originally set up to do two things. One, provide excellence in education, as all schools aspire to do. And two, to model for children the religious life of their families and communities.
The changes being considered are so intrusive, they would not only prevent schools from doing this, they would also demand they do things contrary to their core beliefs and purposes. This is so serious and unprecedented. Some schools won't be able to continue if forced to undermine their beliefs and violate their conscience.
Beyond these questions of freedoms, these plans are completely at odds with the choices parents are making about what is best for their children. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, public school enrolments have dropped by more than 24,000 students in New South Wales alone. Between 2022 and 2023, a similar drop was seen in most states and territories. Over the decade from 2012 to 2022, Christian schools welcomed over 100,000 new students to their classrooms. That's more than a 20% increase in only 10 years.
These statistics tell a clear story. There is something attractive and valuable about what these schools have to offer. But these good things are being treated by the Prime Minister as having nothing to do with the religious character or teaching of these schools.
In other words, his government thinks that the fruit of these schools can be cut off from the root of these schools. If this was to happen, the basis of their existence, their ethos, would be against the law. And schools could no longer be the loving, vibrant communities for your children to thrive.
Parents like you are voting with their feet, choosing independent, Christian-based education for their children. And this has occurred alongside record drops in religious affiliation. These are mostly children from families who aren't part of a local church.
If you're one of these families, it's important for you to be aware that the Christian school you and your children love are at great risk.
This is not an exaggeration. These plans cross a line, forcing Christian schools to no longer be Christian. And what we all love about our schools will be lost.
Click the link in the description below to send a short message to your federal MP. Tell them you want your school to keep their right to religious freedom.